Chanchu Badu Dabi Kapsuchi, Dadi Chijen Jive Sonanje, Drola Penche Sanke Drupa, Sho Sanje, Chodam Toki Tonamla, Chanchu Badu Dani Kapsuchi, Dadi Chijen Jive Sonanje, Drola Penche Sanke Drupa, Sho Sanje, Chodam Toki Tonamla, Chanchu Badu Dabi Kapsuchi, Dadi Chijen Jive Sonanje, Drola Penche Sanke Drupa, Sho Tayantan Kate Kate Paran Kate Parasum Kate Bodhi Soha Tayantan Kate Kate Paran Kate Parasum Kate Bodhi Soha Tayantan Kate Kate Paran Kate Parasum Kate Bodhi Soha Semja Tamjega to Topjalana Majeva Sanjay Kumaran Boja Chineja Tobacha第一区的 장조선바 랍전의 취치도는 라와래 신고를 시발을 tö고 tö발 tö제쇼 만호와 저거도 하나 가지고 남르게 쇼는 얘기 삼삼체.
And so let's begin with setting our motivation as we normally do to attain the peerless state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. And knowing that to attain such a state I must perfect all the trainings on a bodhisattva path. And to perfect those trainings I must have a good knowledge of them, must have a good understanding of what they are about. And I can only gain this by being able to rely on an unmistaken presentation of those teachings. And therefore, I am here this morning to listen to a teaching on the Graduated Path to Enlightenment series of teachings.
Oh yeah. 我当可是你们那些节庆的，他刚才这个对南军那些节庆的，他就刚才这个说的，然后对的了，你刚说的，但是他觉得突然什么的么，东北下家都把塞到，俺东北土干，东北土干的为啥？俺的等着了，为啥错了？真的，俺这交多长的就把伢的进来就把拉嘛这个的，但有什么上去？俺的呢，也愿意了这么的，也了大概这这，叫讲把那嘛就把，俺的家去追个。 原来怕这边上告诉他，这这边的嘛就上么大就给，啊，他这个就要上啥钱，他刚才讲讲了，说把这个就要上，底下的人搞他们，他刚才这老人说把名啊把了，说就把这个等讲过那么重，但呢，想了，对的了，老告诉他他这，告诉他那么下家生个对了为啥吵的，然后这在外头吃到我那个了嘛，但呢他，俺这个拉面那就。 아니 자주 전다가 주대 시간 하죠. 저는 계산도 사제 동. 저는 가서도 다 지금 가서도 잠자야로 소리 뉴스지게. 아니 라디오 년도 봐 가지고 수요 숨어서 딱 이제 지금 가서도 되게 안에 다 초신 마상 하면 와자 되게 세다 거든 체.
And as per normal too, we now set up the merit field in the space in front of us, beginning with the greatly compassionate figure of the Guru Munindraja Vajradhara Shakyamuni Buddha. And from that figure then emanates light rays. Light rays, first of all, we follow those heading upwards, they then inaugurating or establishing the consecrated practices lineage with Vajradhara at the head. And then to the right and the left. On the right, the figure of Maitreya at the head of the extensive practices lineage, and on the left, Manjushri at the head of the profound view lineage of gurus. And of course, on both sides and below them are the different schools of the Kadampa lineages, the scriptural school, the Lamrim school, the instructional school. And below them again, the grouping known as the lineage lamas of the Gelug tradition, at the center of which is Jeripate Lama Tsongkhapa. And then returning to the central figure, and just below that central figure, below that throne, is those teachers from whom we have received teachings, and they are surrounding our own root guru in that group there. And around those as well are the different tantric sets, the different 4 sets of the tantric deities, the highest yoga tantric set, the yoga tantric set, the action tantric sets, and then also in that next to come the different Buddhas, such as the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon. And then the great bodhisattvas, naming such as Maitreya, Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, and so on, the 8 close disciples of the Buddha. And then the hearers, the solitary realizers, the arhats, the dakas, dakinis, and the dharma protectors, all filling out all of the different levels and areas of the merit field, such that we conclude that they are all present without exception.
What in the channel, and the Ranga Tabata Tincha Magia Simja Tamcha, you some chat. And there are Swatching that Tata, Joe, Jamba, Tuga, Holy, was a part of Member Tune, and Sing Ramjana Sugar, Ishiba Moscow, Chantan, and Swatching that Tamjala, such that Rene, Ishiba Mos Tim, so some chat, what in the conversation.
Then we, of course, we visualize also that we ourselves are surrounded by all kind, mother, sentient beings. And then focusing on the merit field, we see that they are marked at the 3 places with the 3 syllables ah, Om. From the hung at the heart of each member of the merit field emanate countless light rays which go to the pure realms and invite back the wisdom beings which come and dissolve into each member of the merit field.
What the chat, and the Ranga Tabata, and Tijem Casa Tijamaka Simja Tamja, and Simjala, that Chicaso de Tachiga, Randa Gokun and Sonja Takaja, they want to develop. We do but to make it to make a chick mutu yontigage. Yontigage. That dinner tabe, and Tabam, Tamja Jamaj, do the money of Yina, and it dinner Tametigas, that mutu in the cottage, never check your money. 매번 차고요 맞다 매번 맞아잖아 그래서 그 셰베기 무트도 저되게 요바 인상 아니 셰발이 객 매번 인상 그 무트네 저되지 세직 저거야 세셔마저 세직 저거 세셔마다 가자 코알 무트네 내대지 다 근데 안팅 안저 삼노다 다 되네 타베 타바 탐제 제마저 좀 하도다 다 사사샤 삼사다 어떤 데는 아니 데를 코 그래서 심절을 매민이제 아니 소신 대다 미베는 대바 what is going to what is
And that in focusing on the sentient beings all around us, we of course realize that they, just like us, want happiness and don't want any suffering. However, they are bereft of the happiness that they so desire, and they are constantly inundated by frustrations and sufferings that they do not want. And so, in focusing on that, we have an understanding that, we must attain enlightenment if we are to free ourselves and free others from this constant suffering and this constant lack of happiness. And that it's simply not a simple case that once we finish this life that we will simply go out of existence. That is really not an option because of the continuity of consciousness that is unbroken. That we will go on from life to life to life, and those lives will be lives of suffering in cyclic existence if we don't do anything about it. And so it really is the case of not having a choice, that we must attain this sense of liberation from a cyclic existence, and we must lead all other sentient beings to that state of enlightenment as well. And that so therefore we look towards all the sentient beings all around us with that mind of compassion, and that we look towards the merit field with the mind filled with faith.
밑에 동에 빠도 매가지 두가 다 되네 디 거딱 잡아가 님한테 디 소설라 반에 쇼트로 와 쇼에데 다 지금 우기 주와 잠래 다 우기 주와도 마체도 엔디니가 내다 미루 되는 매가 차도래 차트 아니 되네 다 소설 레상에게 다 간자지 겨와질 연상 차도로 와 안디 자조도 다 지금 자사도 아니 다 년송한테 봤잖아 다 뺐어 다 탑시 처럼 매대가지 탑시 처럼 매대 다 먼저 미루데 들래 차전 야타주 여다 던도 강한 거제도 다 되게 걔가 나실라 소와 미드버 토도 보러 그냥 뭐 쉬고도 왔다 되는 게 소라 걔다 다 라라 싸워니네 매되겠지 라와 싸워니네 매되고 다 되는 이제 다 되는 이면서 아니 저 코아드나 타와지면 저는 다 그냥 걔와 야고를 내봐 이네 니마지 걔와 되나 소들 라바는 턴도 그래 아니 걔와 야고 레버릴라 아니 레사고지 사토나 야고 때다 망찰랭이 말이 녀모도 좀 것이라 생고 상황도 sem 녀모배 상황도 되는 이면서 탑시시라 매되겠지 매되게 다 되는 이제 다리 밀루토 제나네 된저고 밀루토잖아 되는 예배 카드라 다 소설 리퍼지 좀 마토바 이나 다티 라바네 쇼와 이나 다 정치부 수술아 되겠지 응 뒤에다 치원이 남친님에 되는 이면 인자다 소설 당반에 단단한 리퍼지 좀 다리 소설에 선이 소설 말이 다 드링의 리퍼지 좀 마토바 이나 드링디야 단단한 리퍼지 좀 마토바 이나 차도와 안된서 왔다 되게 초망보다 삼로 단전은 왔다 아니 그 님이통 텔레 탄도 로케 아니 텔레 타에 잡라나 메바데 튜나 세데 아니 제가 소신 대다지 바데다 같이 아니 소신 대다 그 공부하지 마도나 탑 삼사잖아 아니 다에다 와 얘기다 먼저 그때 봐 어떻게 군대라는 어떻게 공부시 어떻게
And so therefore, we must realize the situation that we have now and the potential that is there for us in this situation. For example, we are born as a human being in this world, in this life, and furthermore, we're born into Australia, a reasonably well-off country where our external conditions are reasonably good. Yet, none of us would deny that we're still suffering. We're still inundated by different frustrations and sufferings. Isn't that the case? And that we must also understand that this situation for us, as reasonably good as it is not going to last. We will lose this status that we have. All that has to happen is that we breathe out and we don't breathe in again. And that means that life is gone. And then we move on to the next life. We must thereafter follow our karmas, whether we've had, developed, accumulated good karmas or negative karmas. We must follow after that. And if we were to follow after those negative imprints, we would end up in the lower realms. And then we'd have to consider what lack of opportunity we have there to do anything about our status, about our situation. There we will be completely overwhelmed by the suffering without any chance to move and do anything else about it. And so therefore, we must see the opportunity that is there in the life that we have now, this human existence, that even though we know also that we have countless undesirable things occurring for us, dissatisfactions occurring for us, that there's still very much suffering for us, and that but we must see that we must make the most of that. That even though we may accumulate some virtue, that virtues can be lost very easily. That we have we're still very much influenced by mental affliction, and those mentally afflicted minds seem to take control of us from time to time, and so that we fall under their influence all too easily. So therefore, we have to understand that as a human being, we have enough intelligence and ability to reason, and we must use this well. We must use this opportunity well, and to constantly keep ourselves mindful of the fact that here it's a very precious time for us to be able to use our intelligence well, because death is definite and the time of death is indefinite. Therefore, we cannot sit back on our heels and we cannot really procrastinate. We must operate now, to use our intelligence now, to use our human potential now, to see what we can do with this human life now. And looking at the merit field, we ask and beseech their help to be able to do that. We have that faith of conviction. We have that pure faith. We have that faith of manifestation, manifest faith, of really saying that we can really make manifest what we believe in, what we have faith in now, if we have the assistance of the blessing of all the members of the merit field.
그거를 산이도 소설라고 유메 따교래. 데리도 소설라고 열봐. 데리가 나네다 쇼가다 권다스 님고데 권다스 뭐고 치주에도 다 단다도 소설라고 열어. 되네 님고 잡데 소설라고 민도아. 야고 삼다나. 보다 되네 지금 내가 되셔도 아니 그 단단해. 아니 그 리바지 좀 하도 봐이나. 아니 그 차도 와. 그러와.
And so we can have all the plans for the short term, the long term, and so on. And but we have to understand that it's only now, in the present, that we have any sense of control, that we have the, the potential or the power in our hands just at this point. Even if tomorrow we can't have any guarantee of, even when midday arrives, we can't really guarantee what will be our situation. It's only now, so we must set our mind in that way to look after this moment and to keep looking after this moment in every moment.
다들 인자 먼저 지금 먼저 처음에 받는데 뒤지 먹고 싶을 때 얘네 양 먼저 소신검 안에 심지 탐재기도 안 산재 고마도 로키 안에 심지를 민제 잡아 안 돼서 먼저 뒤지 모두 술려 다 해줘 봐. 처음에 저도 먼저 뒤지 쉬우시게 그래. 뒤지 당가 다 된대 지금 먼저 뒤고 다 되게 먼저 삼을 야고 좀 마다 하나. 그 자와 다들이 먼저 때 준비가 들어 저거 자와 연식을 내려서도 차기도 와. 그 삼을 야고 좀 마다 하나. 마다다 되게 먼저 리바지 짐제는 다 가져 지금 단다 위협한테 에너지 가서도 털라만 왔지. 보다 소신검 된대지도 개바 먹보게 사베 디바 다 줘야 아니 신경 털라 때는 뉴도 산제 고바 줘야 바사 납치 뭐 샤야 다 가서는 다 가져다 다 가서는 다 캡산장자로 캡산장장 안 캡산 되게 다 레마도는 다 수도 경험하기도 와 어떻게
And so it is, therefore, it's important for us to understand too that we need to be able to use the potential of the merit field and to really do as much as we can there to get that notion of the benefit of all sentient beings, to enhance our compassion, to enhance our love and so on, in the context of the ability of the merit field to inspire us to accumulate merit on the one hand and purify negativities on the other. And it's no good saying, that we have I've got so much to do, I've no time for this, no time for that, and so on. And that we have to be able to learn how to prioritize this human life. And we will learn about the different laziness when we go to talk about the perfection of enthusiastic effort. And, this laziness, in this case of the laziness of being involved in too many distractions and negative activities. And it's like a laziness of busyness, saying I've no time to do my spiritual practice because I've got so many other things on. But we therefore are really failing to understand the power of the field, the power of the merit field here to be able to bestow blessing on us, to be able to see what we can do to just gain, to be doing the right thing all the time in order to gain the most and all the time from our spiritual practice. So by being able to set up and invoke the merit field, we have this capacity to accumulate this merit and purify this negativity, which is can be the most essential, most prioritized thing we can be doing in our spiritual practice.
안데라 소신 세담네 다데 엔데 다가저 야라도 메데다 제가 표현하는 지금 소사 집장체 아니 어디 아니 되나 아니 랑게 지워 빼마다 니마다 다외 대제 세답 아니 되나 오늘 고다 당고 소신 디가 야 뒤네 담이게 미네야 추조 숨마서 되게 야 찍라 찍든 거 챘네 야 찍라 찍든 거 챘네 아니 소신 소 들라 랑게 진짜 자외라 마서 들라 팁 되네 예용기 장관라마 종갑에 교와 되게 찍라 찍든 챘네 다 이게 가담 주고 대야 찍라 찍든 거다 아니 가서다 고물로도 파바 토멘이라 대야 찍라 찍든 잠자야니라 파티 아니 되네 다 냠네 질라 비벨라마데 찍라 찍든 거 챘네 자오도 참네 라망갈라미 어디를 챘 완전 어디서다 지금 검정 아니 되네다 아니 우라 되네다 라망가디에 아니 가서도 자오도지 참데 아니 가서도 가서다 라마 동안 도착 참 자연이데 라마 동안 도 라게 디자자가 라마데 아니 라마 동안 도착네 아니 두가 고쳐 내소 삼사체 다 라마 동안 도착한데 아니 다 가서 두소 산제 탐제가 다닐 때 어디랬죠
And so then focusing on the merit field, we make the offering of the 7-limbed practice and the offering of the mandala practice in order, again, to purify negativity and to accumulate positive merit. And then we engage in the dissolution of the merit field, where each grouping or line of the merit field personalities dissolve into the subsequent or the previous line, so that they move upwards from the Dharma protectors, dissolving into the Dakas, Dakinis, into the Arhats, and so on, until they all end into dissolving into our own root guru. And then on the left and right, we have the figures of the Geluk lineage lamas, and the Kadampa schools, dissolving into the final two figures there, Lord Maitreya and Lord Manjushri on the left and right. And then the consecrated practices lineage dissolving into the figure of Vajradhara. So we're left with the 5 figures, and we kind of do focused meditation on that for a moment. And then we continue with the dissolution, with the figure of Vajradhara dissolving into the central figure, and then Maitreya and Manjushri simultaneously coming in from the left and right and dissolving into the central figure. And finally our own root guru coming up to the heart center and dissolving into the heart center of Guru Maninja Vajradhara. And then we focus on that figure, the last remaining figure, Guru Maninja Vajradhara, and understand that this figure is the embodiment of all the Buddhists.
배는 먼저 배는 지금 다도알 지금 천재라고 해서 공부되는 날 치마이나 아니 지 나베가 나가서 다 치마이나 아니 산제 꾸징이 와 요봐 다 산제 꾸들라 아니 소미가 검자는 미가 산제 꾸데 아니 산제 꾸데 산제 뭐인서 아니 디 두간에 왜서 땡조를 줘야 냠을 지라줘 예저 사무다기 잔지 주주 뒤에 진짜 자외 라마 아니 초신 차서 사무다 아니 들라 야라도 멘제도 제가 피 아니 검자 제가 초신되게 야뒤네 아니 디 그가 다야 지라 직접 전에 아니 또 마셔야 두가 들라데 디 두송 산제 탐제겠다 단위 차수 단위 섬섬하지 않은 검자 어디를 좀 공부하지는 치마는 거 지주만 못 와. 이제 남는 검요서는 소소 카메라에 인터넷에 깨져봐도 소소 가봐 들어가 있는 산재 꾸시 통수나 다가라 삼 단제 잡아다 아니 빼하고 연구로 다 가봐 들어가 있는 데서 제도가 있나 아니 지 가서 저 초신 검에 대한 소소가 지 가서래 지 덤배 코제나 돈에 아니 소소 뒤지라는 남장 초신 삼 당도했지 당도했지 가서 뭐다 록종제다 배주 당해셔도 와 아니 소소 공부 그랬지나 산재 꾸시 통하야나 산재 tan가시 통하는 남자들은 삼로 담쳐서 다들 검체 저는 아니 큐트 지 말로라 초신 차상 검토에 될 제도로 와 겁나
And so this process that we do of generating the merit field and dissolving the merit field or something. Now this, we must understand that this should not be simply confined to our meditation seats and doing it according to how it says in the graduated path and so on. But rather, this is a practice that we need to integrate to our everyday lives as much as we possibly can. And so that wherever we are, in a temple or in a center or anywhere we see a representation of the Buddha. Like in a temple, we might see a Buddha statue. And that there we should immediately use that as the central figure of the merit field, and then generate the merit field with the consecrated practices lineage, with the extensive practices lineage, with the profound view lineages, and so on, until we generate the merit field in its entirety, make an offering of the 7-limb practice and mandala, and then dissolve the merit field again, and get right back to that figure of the Buddha that we have in front of us, and really see the Buddha as the embodiment of all Buddhas. And so it's important for us not just to leave this process of generating the merit field and dissolving the merit field as some sort of a dry process that we only do, in our meditations when we're sitting and so on, but rather to bring the Buddha with us wherever we are, and to integrate this into all of our activities as much as we possibly can, until it arises in us the moment we see a representation of the Buddha. Then we spontaneously generate the merit field around that Buddha. This should be the way we do it, and indeed, this is what is necessary for us, actually, because we study in order to integrate into our lives, not just to leave it on the page.
我这个恐怕讲，大概这三界估计讲话的南疆对最远了，南疆什么大去？哎，对恐怕中华人呢，就在这个初心沙场上，初心沙场对，哎，结果呢，这让人家搞到呢，其他车上就在这绝头，恐怕中了，恐怕也不中了。
And so when we develop this as a good habit, when it's really habituated into our minds, then it will arise for us spontaneously and naturally. And that's so we have the merit field, we have that interaction with the merit field, veiling of the blessings of the merit field, etc., happening for us on a constant basis.
我的这，搞不着呢，他我呢这个搞不着因，他本来这个恐怕他讲的确实的，肯定是那三界过汤干因呢，这过因呢，大概开不开嘛？他说是的，这个过的他这个所有下面这个他这个。喇叭开吧就所有小吧的，人家说这个三界五那个进来都说是连头了吧，你看上了吧
？And so this would be really marvelous that wherever we go in terms of our spiritual journeys to a temple, to a center, to a monastery, and we see representations of the Buddha in pictorial form, like in a tanka, or in actual form in a Buddha statue that is well made and so on, that we just don't see it like that. But we see this as the actual Buddha, the actual presence of the Buddha there and then, and thereby we avail of the blessing of an actual enlightened being, of an actual Buddha, and how wonderful, how beneficial that would be for our particular trip.
And so the Tambo Todu down too long do need it, and Sanjay Sala Lam yet the Kavashotari.
And that and this process of being able to view the world in this way, to see the Buddhas in this way, is of course automatically bringing us closer to the actuality of enlightenment and the state of enlightenment as well.
So the two Tambo Kobatilla Todu down, so the two Yongin Mida Chibarete, in a Sanjay Sala Lam Yelu Kabato Shotado.
And so the person who is going away on that trip and the person who's going back on that trip may be the same, but one can see that one is returning with the blessing of the Buddha, and that makes a big difference to that trip, that person.
What did it? Because the did then she was and Diana was a Santella teaching you to Swash Ligger, Timanata, Swashda Yomare. Then there's a gentleman, and so the draw the Modroni like Cabayo ticket, and draw the Latina, and Sanjay Juman put you took to a year ticket. 原来通过了原来我到了这里休要嘛嘞，安尼几天个讲话的去年讲的，安尼几天个讲话的给吃这，安尼去的 goodbye， 看着他们不写个的，安 goodbye 的，安尼休要嘛，可是去了得咱们给原来的通过要嘛的哇。
And so this is important. It's important for us to be able to cultivate this sense of real strong feeling for the practice that we are apparently dedicated towards. In other words, to get this taste in our system, to be able to really see the Buddhas wherever we go, to avail of the Buddhas, to interact in this way, in a much more personable way, a much more vital way in our lives. Otherwise, we won't have this kind of like capacity to generate these causes to attain enlightenment, because we don't see what the value, what the feeling of it is for us, And so therefore, it's very, very important, because all at the same time, we are kind of very much pulled in the worldly direction in our lives as well. And so if we don't, as it were, really nourish the Dharma side, the spiritual side of our lives, by making it real and integrating it in this way, by being able to see representations of the Buddha as the actual Buddha and interacting in that way, the veiling of it in that way, then we will be caught into the worldly life more and more and more, and we'll be constantly, really distancing ourselves from our spiritual selves and really saying bye-bye to that life. So really Dharma is the main event for us, whereas the worldly life should be a side show for us. Whereas we have it the other way around, where the worldly life is the main event and the Dharma is just an incidental kind of issue for us. So we need to turn that around, really. And so, that's why people who are 20 years, 30 years in the Dharma see no change much in their lives, no change in their demeanor. And that this is why, they have all the knowledge, but they haven't really brought that home, or haven't really brought that deep integrated into their lives. It doesn't seem to have a place in their day-to-day existence. And that this is something we can verify for ourselves, can't we?
And so you
can see that if we do not reflect well and carefully on what we are assimilating here, what we are learning here, then it can only serve to self-deceive. We'll only be fooling ourselves.
Kazana Sanje Kuchena, Chinab Lento by Yana, Penic Sheribu, Yamata Kiava Mubingela, and it me Kiava share, and it puzzle to Lanking and Tawo, Yiki and Tawo to the Kiavacha, and it Tang Chene, and a combining by Hanging by Nalhan, and because of the Hango that. So Jordan Hango to radio, so there ya Tang Chen, they said, and Sanje Kui, they read in the silver. And Sanje, that's Sanje, so the keyboard tambare, Sanje tendency that channel, and contain Yabo Younger, the chair to a show. So some of the tendency cable attendant, that long you don't have your house corner, Tomashaja to a chick then the paper color, say to a channel. Get you dinner to one. Because I think it talks and treasure, take it to your tongue with one.
So this process of really invoking the blessings of the Buddhas, whenever we come across a Buddha image or statue and so on, is something that is really for real. It's really laid down. Even in past, when we look at the great Shariputra, in a life thousands of years before his life as Shariputra, he was a courier, bringing messages from one kingdom to another. And on one of these journeys, as night fell, he took shelter in an old temple. And there, while he was repairing his shoes, he looked up and saw the remains of these frescoes and paintings of the Buddhas, bodhisattvas on the walls. And a great faith arose in him, and he really filled with admiration and said, how wonderful these beings are, how wonderful it would be. Can you imagine how fantastic it would be to be in the presence of one, to meet and be near one of these beings? And just with that aspiration was enough to lay down an imprint on his mind that many thousands of years later, when the Buddha Shakyamuni arrived in this world 2,600 years ago, that being was known as Shariputra and was one of his closest disciples. And that was the cause that led to him being one of the Buddha's closest disciples. And so when we generate the merit field like this and we make our aspirations in front of the merit field, why would it be any different for us? Of course, it's the same process at work. And it's even more potential, even has more power.
And so 딜레 누바차래 안 네가 뭐지 또 심으라 다른 주의 돼서 뭐지 제부터 거야 말봐 아니 다 제부터 거 매자 아니 처음에 줘서 통한대라 아니 먼저 넣을 때도 제부 쓰게데 주 찾아 사서나 제부 쏘나 미내버려 제부 대토야 말이야 주 상사돼
And so it's even a great deal more meritorious, the way that we generate that merit field, of course, because our motivation is to benefit all sentient beings. And this is one of the processes by which we take the results onto the path. And therefore, the imprints are that much greater, have a great deal more potential. Of course, when we don't see the results for ourselves, that's where we often lose our enthusiasm and even lose our faith. And that's a real disaster for us in a way, because the process of the law of cause and effect is that if we have generated the causes, the result hasn't got any choice but to manifest, but to reach fruition. And that should be enough for us to generate these causes enthusiastically and steadily without losing any enthusiasm.
진짜다 뭐서 아니 다 제보다다 통과 매바이는 유대대대 손에 제보들 용도서 다 남주 배주 땅 거고도 남주 배주 땅에 개발이 버서고도 다미 배주 다 뒤뒤 땅 거다 갑도 통나 인지 미 남주 인고에 문도 다 유대대대 손나다 제보대대 그 매는 좀 대화해서 세메리 받든서 삼로 땅이 세메리 받든서 삼로 땅인데 아니 경제 삼로 땅 개발 다미 남주의 뒤뒤 배주 땅 거고도 아니 개발이 버서도지
And so this process of not seeing the results of the causes that we are accumulating, not seeing them directly. So this is where we need to place the full power of our human intelligence. And that in order to gain conviction in the process of the law of cause and effect. So it's very, very important. This is what human intelligence is for, that we don't see things directly. The results are not going to happen automatically, directly, and are fully verifiable for us with our own eyes. So we have to look into the inference of seeing that if the cause is generated, then it will lead to that result in the future. And that is something that we should find absolute conviction in. And so this is where we need to use our human intelligence. And that to reach a point where we conclude that, oh yes, it can't be any other way than this. If I generate that cause, that's going to lead to that result. Absolutely correct.
나 갑도 통과에 이제 미 남주 고고요 말이야. 그 둔줄이네 그 야다 고인다 뜬게 뒤주 신네 거라 딱다 제도고도 와. 딱다 제도고도 와. 그러나 베나지 상소에 그 부구차에 뒤줄에도 그러나 학고도 남자 상소 도고도 그 자자 제도고도 하고 갑도 갈아가서 예만 뒤주가 제도다 다 유승국이 대화 주에 동네세에 안데나 되나네 안에 저 개바게 아니 바게 안에 다가저 유튜브에다 동네세에다 안에 땡기 주에 다디 남주 띵 사고지 삼로 마다나 용도 봐. 다 미소로 좀 안에 용도에만 도와. 다 미 남주 뒤뒤 배주 다 해도 와.
And so you can see here that this is the exclusive to the potential in human intelligence to be able to see into the long term and to be able to gain conviction. Therefore, in actions that we engage in now will have a definite result in the future. So this is unlike animals who operate more directly and immediately to satisfy needs and to eradicate their suffering. They only can act on the basis of what they see in front of them. There's no capacity to engage in logical thinking. And so this is what we need to be able to see for ourselves, that we know that even over from long term, from eon to eon, that the virtues that we create will have the capacity to bring about happiness. The non-virtues and the abandonment of non-virtues will have the capacity to eradicate suffering for us. And this is over a long period of time. Now we need to take this long view, and we need to see this capacity to be able to adhere to a long view as a particular profit or a particular advantage of a human being.
gender, Jewel Pema, you made the end of that gender, and Pataza, Job, and Kuzo, Gurus, and Tamil, Pet, never goes to Subet the Cover Tendo Shuna, that's Sanjay Kumamato, but the chess, so the Kawago.
So now we make the invocation to the last remaining figure of the merit field, Guru Muninja Vajradhara, by first establishing a seat, a lotus sun and moon Buddhist mandala seat on our own crown, and by reciting the invocation verse at the end of the first recitation, a replica comes to starts the journey towards our crown. At the end of the second recitation, the figure comes to sit on the seat that we have prepared on our crown. And at the end of the third recitation, we have the certainty that they will remain with us until we attain the state of enlightenment. And we rejoice in that fact. So, O glorious and precious Root Guru, come take your lotus moon, this mandala, placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind.
Order, and it like us at that, to saw Puzu, Kuchita, Lamala, Tuando, Johnson, Tuando, just whatever, saw Puzu, the Sunday check, what did they check?
Then we can make the stake-like prayer. My most divine Guru, Lord of the four Kayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My most divine Guru, Lord of unimpeded Dharmakaya, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara, etc. And then again the seven-limbed prayer, and then the mandala offering.
and that Jide come can and Choba they to you, they want to use Takaja, they got no ship Samoja and Samotani, ship Samus and Samotani. Shower, and it's also the Setila Sabe, Tibat Temakarina, what to get the Samotan, and Kawanga Ting, Amangamacha, Toma was a Tibat together, Takaja, and it together, and about that Shani Luna, Yusu Kone, and it Taganishing Takaja, and Jiggy Tamsi, Yamja, Tamja, Jua, continue by the top. And came on good language to very sharp to go your marwa. And what the Gangata, Tamsi, Yamjaka, the Chimba, to get a mashaptum chia. What did the Jataka, what did the Janataka, and Satomama 17, Tamsi, Yamjata, Tibat, whatever, what did the Janataka, Chaza, the church is Shabata, and the Jesuit Iran, that Sanja, the Judges ofAnyara, so I guess that I ran to drop to more power Pinjalo, so Mataraja, ran that chamber making it, they meet to it, and the Gawatu what to learn, but Jesuit Iran. Jesuit Iran, what Jesuit Iran, Javaina, and Ran Dawson Tamoko, your part of to be you can tell Jesuit. Jesuit Iran chair, what the legend, Jesuit Iran chair, what the legend, Tarashi, Jesuit Iran chair. Chaza was a treaty shower, just Gaza Tamja, what are the legend, Takaja, and it gets a Janju daughter, Yangan without so at the Choko, and Gaza together, so by Janju Moachi. What are the get, what in the was to sick Domatama, you much and ticket, Donda, or some of you were 20, and some of 12 you were 20. What is it? And it's such a debate, the bear, shook to the 20. Shoot on the Chonta, that they can get a summer Matang and Kata, tell a summer Tang and Kabla, and then Tipali Kabatrage. Kabatrage. To get those one to watch, so similar. So you watch what the Javaina and a drop it. The Manata charging us or a general level for children, and Kazas the Chinimatu so Chagua.
And so that in these situations, when we're inviting the guru to our crown and so on, and we talk about the making certain prayers and the offering of the seven in practice and the mandala and so on. Of course, here it's in a very kind of skeleton form, but depending on how much time we have, so please try to bring as much detail to this as you possibly can. and to really generate a sense of that you really have this personal involvement in your own practice, that you're getting some real sense of strong feeling out of it. For example, when making the 7-limb practice, that you're going through the process of the making of you're prostrating, making obeisance of your prostrating your body, of your speech, of your mind to the figure on your crown, that you're doing that as carefully as you can. When you're making the offerings, you're offering all of what you have materially, and then all the mental offerings that you have. You're making offerings of all your root virtues that you've accumulated since beginningless time, and you're making all of these offerings to the figure on your crown. And we can visualize that they are receiving these offerings. They're exceedingly pleased. And this pleasure turns into bliss, and then the bliss into emptiness, and they abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. And you can stay with that as long as you can. And then you could go through as well, the different other branches of the 7-limbed practice of the purification of your negativities, of really taking this opportunity to consider the negativities that you can recall, those that you don't remember, just taking them as a lump of negativities from the beginningless time that you have accumulated and that you need to overcome, and that you all the negativities that you've engaged in with your body, with your speech, and with your mind, and I really try to get some detail in there so that they are a kind of real negativities that you are purifying as well. And understanding also the vows that you have broken, the infractions that you have created in your vows, the different samayas that you have broken as well with your guru. All of these need to be purified, and you need to be confessed and need to be purified. And then, that you really pray that the Buddhas will remain, that they will teach the Dharma, that they will turn the wheel of Dharma, and that you rejoice in all of the virtues that you have created yourself, all of the great virtues of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas and the holy beings, all of the virtues of your friends and your Dharma friends and so on, and generating that sense of really feeling the positivity of goodness that other people are engaged in. And it's said that this is a wonderful part of the 7-limb practice, that it absolutely costs nothing to do, and yet it has tremendous benefits to accrue. And that and then of course the dedication, and careful dedication at the end, dedicating all of what you have accumulated in terms of root virtue, so that it benefits all sentient beings, and that really to use the opportunity that you have in practice like this to really very intensely, as much as you possibly can, depending on what time you have, to do that process of eradicating negativities and accumulating a positive merit. And it's so important that one somehow gets a feeling, really strong taste and a real feeling that this is something that is effective. This is really transforming my whole mental attitude. And this is only something that you can answer yourself. This is something that is known to yourself. Are you paying lip service here to the practice, or is it something that is really getting through and making a change, positive change in your mental attitude?
Sanje Janju Sabata, Shingi Kesa, Krejo del Jesu Irache, and how to the round the Chambo Megan, the Tibu Megan, Lega Yapucho Mabuyo, Kawa Yapucho Mabuyo, Tigale Jesu Irache. Mixing Jesu Irache. That is a mancha was in Yomuke, Guga Manga to Hotel, mixing it said to 20. Sanga the Janju Sabaka, Jesu Irache, Tos Lelagre. That round the Chambo Megan, Mila Kesa, Kawacha, Jesu Irache, Tos Habuyo, didn't mix again, Kobachane. What is Java? I don't know, like, how to shoot some Shuja to do. I mean, the 객자 싸게 들려 소소 제수 일하자 소소도 똑바냐 바이데 집바 통거래 다 소소 똑바 책 토아이는 책가 통거래 그래 소소를 마이는 소소를 하가 통거래 소소를 하가 통거래 겸사래도 와 난 뒤에서도 그 삼로 땅땅 개바지래도 와 제수라서 삼로 땅땅 개바지 어디에 졌다 냥을면도 소화되래 아주 초고 고아서되래 와다다 계속 자주도 뭐야 와다들 전 되게 그 야나 양도 삼로 땅에 산에 양도 삼로 땅에 와다 되게 되고 아니 야라도 면대다 제가 어디에 쳤
And that, to use the different limbs of the 7-limb practice there to really get into kind of like a personally referenced practice for ourselves. For example, when we're doing the rejoicing limb, again, like as we pointed out, rejoicing in the wonderful countless virtues of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and the positive friends that you have, but more especially to rejoice in the virtues of those who you dislike, and maybe those who dislike you, because after all, that may be our relationship, but they will be generating virtues and have generated virtues as well. And so it's very important for us to put our mind into those difficult spaces and to really genuinely rejoice in there, because that is the most effective countermeasure to the mental afflictions for us. And very, very important that here, if we are rejoicing in the person who we dislike in their virtues, we are unlikely to dislike them. We are unlikely to generate any negativities towards them. So it's very, very important to see that what we are engaged in here is the process of transforming our thinking, and transforming our attitudes, transforming the way we conceive of others. And that this has to be seen, this has to be something that is kind of acid tested for ourselves to be able to see that it really makes a difference. And so when we talk about really praying that we do not want Buddha to enter into parinirvana, but to remain, not just to remain, but to turn the wheel of Dharma and so on. And that all of these should really matter to our lives now.
Because 먼저 갑대 짜고 최초부터 영어를 갑대 짜야 들어와. 영어를 갑대 짜온도 다 소소 최초부터 영어를 draw 만들어 지고로. 점점 먼저 삽삽 맞잖아 영어를 draw 줘야 내가 도와줘야 돼. 다 랑게 마가사게 뒤쪽에 연대 톤에 뒤 연대라 아니 제수이나 제뒤 연대 줘봐이나 소소 마대와 좀 막히면 때도 요래. 당보들아. 마대와 뒤 랑 제자를 갑대 짜기도 왔다. 마대오들 한 진짜 온게 지금 여러 그래서 영혼을 갑대 짜 되거든. 영혼을 갑대 짜 최대 살다. 최 레벨은 최 부다지를 살다.
And to go back to that saying of saying what is Dharma practice? Dharma practice is the counteracting of the mental afflictions, the opposing of the mental afflictions. And that's it's very, very important to see how that operates. For example, when we are engaged in, really wanting to see the good qualities of the person who we dislike. And now, if you're genuinely doing that, it may feel a little uncomfortable within. And one must recognize that discomfort is good, because that discomfort is a sign that if you are opposing your self-cherishing attitude, you're opposing your mental afflictions, you're counteracting, the mental afflictions. And so this is something that we need to be able to increase more and more and more. And that this shows that, after all, any counteracting of the mental afflictions is good Dharma practice, and we needn't worry about it.
다 간저 어디를 다 간저 어디 안에 되네 어다 소신되다 안에 초기 신에 안에 두수산지 단적이 다 간저 다니 다 간저 라마 동안도 장 안에 검시면 안에 다 검시면 안에 다 간저 어디를 고마시 어디를 장.
And so then we have the Guru Munindra Bhattacharya on a crown as the embodiment of all the deities and figures in the merit field, and indeed the embodiment of all Buddhas.
근데 저 준주 토베 체도다 준주가 냠내 타지바 용아 지구도 아니 또 맞이나 타면도 스타 대체도 아니 소라 양아 준주도 또 장조세베 라베 내나나 아니 최셔도 라바 지기 슬라바 차오 ante da chena lama le chingilap to sus chingilap to soada wala da jiwa lama la kule tuze na ga se jiwa yunba ne ane jiga zunju ge na chinyam de tamje chaba da zunju ge namne yoga la badu je diba ta chen su cham cha ane de na we se sebo to shichawa je pamne ane de ane zunju ge na suchi do cha ju ne wa chaba je top su sam sa wa de su ko ba she so chen de da ga tu ge lo yo zunju ge namne ne shi che to wa ji wa chingilap su sam sa ko ba she.
And so now we're looking at the generation of the perfection of enthusiastic effort. And here, in conjunction with that, in order to really generate that, we will look into the meaning of the 12 scriptural categories of the Buddhist teachings and perfectly engage in the practice of the Bodhisattva trainings. And please, Guru Deity, please bless me to be able to make this so, to be successful in this. As a result of that invocation, the 5 colored nectar lights emanate from the figure on our crown with the white light predominant. This has the function of purifying all negativities and obscurations that we've accumulated since beginningless time, and in particular, those particular negativities and obscurations that are preventing us from generating the perfection of enthusiastic effort. And then with the 5 colored nectar lights again coming down with the yellow golden light predominant, we are endowed with all the potential to really perfect the perfection of enthusiastic effort as quickly as possible.
다 가제 준주 세겐데 라 다 준주 세겐데라 간데질 세겐스나 안 모즈베나 레가라 호르보들라 준주 세겐마 남주 모즈 치카체 준주 베지던 거 준주 첨보들라 거데 준주 세게 개와라 쪼아치고 그러와 개 정간이 개와라 쪼아와 준주 세 간데질 세가 개와라 쪼아유 되겠지 쪼아유 되가 좀.
And first, it's important to define what is mentioned by enthusiastic effort here, or the effort in the context of the perfection of effort. It isn't simply a case of putting in a lot of effort after work or anything like that. Here, the definition is that the definition of enthusiastic effort is that which rejoices in virtue.
What did it? 아니 준주들의 계획들 다 준주들의 계획들 다 같이 어디 요구와 다 같이 준주 용의 계획들 안에 레로 들어와 다 레로디 계획이 맞아 레로들 다 같이 레 자왕행식의 레로 아니 길고의 레로 다니엘 예배 레로서 레로 숨 용거리나.
And so that, of course, then there are obstacles to the generation of enthusiastic effort. And these really center on 3 different types of laziness. And tier 1 is the laziness of engaging in negative activities. The other is the laziness of really sloth. And then the third is the laziness of defeatism, of thinking, oh, I can't do that.
다 자왕행식을 내려서 세디게 전부 세네다 무소야 달래가 치야다 근데 코코는 다 뒤즈모도 세기도 어디 자왕행식
So the first of these is the laziness of engaging in negative activities. And this is simply based on really considering this life to be so important and all important. And so that one is completely dedicated to just amassing money and property and materials and so on. And because of this, one always has the same complaint of, oh, I've no time for this, I wish I had, I don't have any time, and so on. And so this is, as you can see, quite common.
no time laptop ina nima chi chiwa yong de laptop oh nga thog ba ngal du mes laptop ta ya borwa.
And so if no time, if you could say that and it made a difference, then maybe you could wait until death and you could say, oh yeah, sorry, there's no time for death. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that.
What did you? And lo cheda joyeta. That the joy to that go do in 24/7 hours to take the Kazan drink that. Lokoroma to the Coronu draw what to the Magunudro. What that the joy cat and not use the mess cat to my ina. The cat
and so as well, yes, and so that the time as well is a continuum that can't be stopped. It continues on. We are constantly getting older. 24/7 time is draining away, and that we can't complain that there is no time. There's no time because you cannot put a stop on time anyway.
What? That digging was a community did Chico, the Nico, or quarter. Yeah, Ricochet. 인지미팅 예봐도 거에 차대고 요마마 다이네 다 가이나면은 탑 약슈들라 아니 소소 컨디션 체반디 셔를 배주 당도에 중앙이나 나는 셔주에 튕겨를 배주 당 중앙다 다디가 잡아든 인지 깨어를 배주 당도가 중앙이나 아니 거 두주 지 공자다 된데 두주 믹스에 매봐 이네 소소 지에디 아니 셔를 봐 자도가 이나 지 다주스도가 트랜스포메이션 제토나 And
so really, the only option for us really, and the best means of using the time that we have is to use that time to engage in spiritual dharma, spiritual practice, and to use our time as much as we can for that, and to either for engaging in dharma directly or creating the conditions for being able to engage in spiritual practice. And if we have no special time to use on meditation or something like that, that we are integrating the teachings into our lives and making a difference in our everyday lives. And so this is the way in which to use our time. Otherwise, I think we're simply just fooling ourselves.
밀류래는 대 용해도 딱 이제 홀리데이 용해 소리다. 공세 용해다. 공세 용을 파 로쪽으로 와. 먼저 리턴 티켓 돈 내요로. 리턴 티켓 마돈 말. 먼저 리턴 티켓 돈 잘내 되어 와. 개베니까 리턴 티켓 돈 사래. 이거서 하고 받잖아.
And so that the antidote to this way of thinking is to consider how cyclic existence is essenceless, and that we don't have time to be wasting in this way, and that we have this human life we must consider as being just like a holiday, and that like all holidays we have to return. You have to have a return ticket when you go away on that holiday to ensure that you come back. And so with human life, we will lose this one day. We will have to go back.
Yeah, 먼저 대 걔네 안에 개변인가의 치와 고소자도 리턴 티켓 누가 대 리턴 티켓 다 개변인가의 리턴 티켓 열다.
And so from the moment of birth, our death is decided, and death is really just the question like getting a return ticket for the next life.
근데 개개요 말 먼저 리턴 티켓 라바 캐디아. 근데 먼저 대기 있었다. 장고셔나 먼저 참자한테 비실라 줘다. 부고 된데게 제막이 한번 써고도 와. 제막 한번 써고도 와. 이나 툭 전을 누구 줘고도 와. 왔다 된데 저는 고건 대다. 찍어지자래.
And so no matter how much we insist that oh no, I want to stay. No, you really have to go. You have to get your ticket for the next life, and that there's no choice in the matter. And very much the example is used of the child building the sandcastle, and that no matter how much they get into it, how long they want to stay, the tide is going to come in and destroy that sandcastle. Yeah. So it's like that. Same with us.
A little bit touch, gone.
Yes. Very fragile.
Yeah, what the that tendency you know, tell them not to go con there
we just we just hang around, we stay, as deceived determinedly deceived by ourselves that these things aren't going to happen to us.
그래서 다 나랑도 대다되고 제 가리켜서 가서 몽바 말이마 몽바 스티르바 몽 되고요 봐 대화다 대외 좀 뭐마시 맞지 대화다 동네 좀 뭐마시 봐 거기는 되게 팬도 섬사다 뭐네 대대로다.
And so what's the fault in that sort of thinking? It's a sort of confusion. It's an ignorant confusion. And that here it's not those who are unaware of the real causes of happiness and the real causes of suffering that must be abandoned. And so they remain in this kind of stupor of confusion.
And ma jabu de chulo ma pe de chama go dongbo ke de yo le chama gongbo chima to odi ba go to sam jigo da ji ba go sa le sam ma jo de a de ya ba go yo ma le ta nga ya yo ma yo me ha go ma le and ya pe ba go to sam ya ba go yo ma le ya nga da ma jo ya yo me da ha go ma le sam ne ta ma chuo mi da go to sa de nge ba me ge de
There's this one story told of one of the Kadampa Geshes who was in meditation, in a cave in the meditation, and right outside the door was this like a thorn bush, and that he would come outside and his robes would be caught in the thorn bush, and he would say, "Oh, I must do something about that thorn bush, but when I come back." But who knows? If I make it back, I might not have the chance to return. And then when he would come back in, he would see it again and say, "Oh, I must do something about that bush later on." But who knows if I have the time to do anything like that? So he was constantly reminding himself of impermanence in this way, using the bush to do so. And so this is saying, like, when he left, he was saying, "There's no guarantee that I will be coming back. When I'm back, there's no guarantee that I will be leaving again." And so, as a result, the bush remained, and nothing was going about.
And the social chola mata wachana that they got church to be
So here, this is shown as a sign of somebody who really has realized impermanence, and therefore no time was being wasted on unnecessary activities, and all time was being used to engage in spiritual practice.
What did you want to do? What did the what did the Java Nation alone? They was nearby him but happen. What did nearby him? Masha, oh no, cause smart, Hoya, or resident, Tangra. Oh, come here, smart. Pesha should start to like a mambuche to resident. That church on the summertime, so go out on that.
And so that we must find a conviction in this in order to counteract this laziness of engaging in negative activities. And that this is something that counteract too, because it's a very powerful sort of deception that we can often deceive ourselves with, isn't it? That I'm really quite special, quite smart, I've got this great job, I've got this great work and so on, that is so meaningful and blah, blah, blah. It earns so much money and so on. Mm-hmm. And that to really kind of see through this, something that is really just a self-deception, really. You're really only fooling yourself by distracting yourself from the priorities of life.
Yeah. Hard workers, very smart, and smart Raymond, smart Munete, and did you tell our Madan? Think it to be some smart Munete.
So this kind of like seeing the hard worker as somebody very smart, as really looking after their life and so on. This is really not smart. Really, the person who is really smart is the one who is determined to use every moment of their life to lay down the causes for definite happiness in the future.
What did it? What are they going to combustion and combustion? That Jawan Geshe level in that 직대면 자와 또좀 맞아라제 맞아 잡아다 아니다 되잖아 말에 잡아다 아니냐 또 스탑 되기는 다 되면 미자서 거할 거고요야 무슨 미도 제마디야 저 부고다 저 자를 신 제마 거고요 인사 대고야 도다지래 그런 야부 캔네 다 저는 다 되도 이나다 되게 치슈 맞지 맞지 되게 돼 내가 내 직소에 대 추주에 튕겨를 배주 당도 맞지 어디에 제마이나 다 되게요 봐 어디에
And of course, this is not to deny that worldly emphasis or some worldly attention should be given as well, and that here, that not everybody can be a nun or a monk. That for lay people, it's necessary to make a living, and that those with children, of course, you have to look after the children. They are the future generations, and so on. This is, of course, common sense, and this is not to be denied. But what is here is a question of emphasis, and that we are placing still the emphasis on our spiritual life and our spiritual practice. And indeed, we should be skillful enough to be able to use these worldly obligations to turn our mind towards the Dharma, to use them as kind of conditions for engaging in proper spiritual life as well.
So
that they don't become an obstacle to your spiritual development, but actually conducive conditions to enhance your spiritual life. And so it's a question of emphasis.
And that Gilubello, second, that Sunny Chechor, Nani Chechor, or the retard on a Chechor is pa down Shacho. What that in mind, but Tanda to put this word over the
And so the second of these lazinesses that is mixed up with a kind of a sloth, but also an attitude of procrastination, where we constantly put off the engaging in spiritual activity to all say, oh, I'll do this later, I'll do this tomorrow, I'll do this at another time, or wait, when I'm retired, I'll get into the Dharma. This kind of putting it off in procrastination, this is a mistake, and this is a type of laziness. And we should be able to see this as a mistake and to engage in spiritual practice now.
And Gomazo, church, Chigudo, should the catch a bush, Chigudo, the legend issue on the Shibju Tsaris. Tankanzana, or Take Jumason, and there is a lot of Anakaja, Miss Tomba Chap Tower, yes. Namda is what that's one is, and in the general hard to work.
And so, again, there's a Tibetan saying how when people when young, for the first 20 years, you have no thought of Dharma. You're too busy in life, completely, wound up in your life. And then for the next 20 to 40 years, you may be going, oh yes, I will, I'll get into the spiritual practice, I will do it. And then for the last 20 years of your life, you're going, oh no, I didn't get into it. I didn't get into the Dharma. I missed my chance. I missed my opportunity. And so thus you have led an empty life, they say.
What are the sort of what the Dendela Mason Takarjo the Chiwamita Yana Yando Sumne. What the Denja Degame, Chiwamita Yana Yandos, Chiwange, Namching Yeme, and the Chiwets, Chiwado, Kanyamin Pepper, the Yana Yando Samlotan, Chiwamita was the Yana Yando Samlotan, and Chiwamita was the Tampa Chula to be Chula to Gozu Gucci, and then Chu Castle Lama Lavia Cosa, then they would touch about your that can go much parcel to that Chiwamita, she would catch him sitting on the door. What that catch him sit down the door, what that is Chiwamita Yando Samlotane, and the chicken due to Trolamato, the catch him with the
And so we don't want that to be said about us, that should not to describe the way we have lived our lives. And in order to counteract that procrastinating attitude, the best meditation is the meditation on the impermanence in the form of death. That the death is definite, that the time of death is indefinite, that at the time of death only our spiritual practice will be of any benefit to us. And we need to reflect on this repeatedly, again and again and again. And that to understand that this meditation on death is that which really inspires us to practice in the first place, is that which is able to sustain our practice in the interim, and that which can allow us to bring our practice to a successful conclusion. And as such, this meditation on the impermanence in the form of death is considered really one of the major topics of meditation.
because namji nyeme yimba za chue dan dan de zhuba ta jie ane chue de chue ke ya mi pe ba yimba yin zang ane zhe ge da jie jie chue kwan da ga zhe chue kwan na zhuba ta jie ne da ruwa jie jie chue su zhuwa zhe ta jie jie wo de zhe zhugu gu yu wo de zhe.
And it's said that through the proper contemplation of these different aspects of death, we come to definite conclusions at the end of each. So, for example, on contemplating how death is definite, we make a firm conclusion to engage in spiritual practice thereafter. And having contemplated how the time of death is indefinite, should spur us to begin engaging in practice immediately without delay. And then through the contemplation that only our spiritual practice will be a benefit to us at the time of death, we conclude that from now on I must turn everything into Dharma. I must indeed practice only spiritual practice.
가서는 domdabde jado ta chö khona tuwe ta jesu ta jije chö so so gari jungwa yinba ine ane chö tuwe tungyal jotwa jene lawa ina ta kibo jungwa yinba na ta dubu jungwa yinba ina ta 가르쳐나 저기 내가 라와 ina ta 내가 쇼바 ina ta gari jungwa ine te chö tuwe tungyal beju tangtuwa jeche.
And so that when we say that we must only engage in spiritual practice, it means that we are skilled in transforming every aspect of our life into spiritual practice. And so this means that all conditions of life are really co-opted into our spiritual practice. Whether our happiness arises for us, whether suffering arises for us, whether something fortunate happens for us, or something unfortunate happens for us, whether we get a new job, whether we lose our job, it doesn't matter. What happens, whatever happens, we are really co-opting that into a spiritual, meaningful spiritual life. And so that's what that means.
축구 차와이네 최주에 통결 배주. 교부 차와이네 최주에 통결 배주 타체. 뭐다 갈중아인 바이네.
So whatever happens, whether we become rich, whether we become completely poor, that's irrelevant. That we are transforming every incident that arises into spiritual benefit.
상에 야 마야 생각도 내가 제도와. 최도 좀 마도나 때도 용어라기도 와. 근데 그가 최주에 통결 배주 타더나.
And so good, bad, and so on, all of these are temporary situations, but what we are able to achieve through transforming them into spiritual moments and spiritual times is something that will stand to us for the long term.
야 어디 다 네가 가서 딱 가서 수익 제도로 가서 미 제도로 가서 단 밀리스 렌토의 디 제도도 와. 좀 제삼로 다 제도도 와. 다 밀리 매바 있는 거 제도 봐.
And again to point out that who has the capacity to be able to do that, to be able to transform all aspects of life onto the spiritual path. Only a human being. Only that human intelligence is capable of doing that. So we should see this then as a key responsibility of our being human.
다른 지가서도 삼六톤에 아니 지게 동해 마용화 수에 대화 용화 수에 대외 주주에 남주 시우 배주 담아 지당당 가서 미스긴들 동해 또 주나 아니 마지와 숙차 용 되기도 와 주주제다나 마지와 숙차 용 되기 요래 뭐야 그 가서 뒷 남주 온 거네 이내 남주에 배주 로바당 거 요와 다 남주의 가서도 동의의 줄라 배주 마당 와자 남주의 대외 줄라 배주다 대내 대라 조의 줄라 배주 땅도 봐이나 아니 미 남주의 다 배주 딱딱 땅도 봤다 새로운 배주 땅도 봐라 다대 동의의 줄라 배주 땅도 남주의 배주 넣었다.
And so this capacity for thought and this capacity for discursive thinking that we have for the human being can work in both ways. In that, in fact, we have the capacity through our own thinking to experience happiness, but also we often use it, unfortunately, to exacerbate suffering that we might experience as well. And that, the unhappiness that we experience, we often load more thought onto that and make it worse. This is something that, animals don't even do. So we have that kind of disadvantage of that intelligence, and that's called the misuse or the abuse of our human intelligence. And so here, it's important to see that intelligence itself is kind of a neutral element, and that it's up to us to be able to use that intelligence correctly and not abuse that intelligence. So, for example, suicide is becoming ever more common amongst humans, isn't it? But I don't know if it is this a part of an animal existence? Do animals commit suicide? I don't think so.
This is something that that is suicide. And it's something suicide.
And so, check that out. And what brings about suicide? It's this mistaken thinking that is kind of exacerbated and repeated again and again and again, leading to a person taking their life.
Yeah. Animal did it something marwa, Namju Menza, and call suicide page.
I say animals don't have that capacity for that repeatedly thinking in the incorrect way, and therefore I don't think suicide is part of an animal's existence. And so you can reflect on that. If one misuses one's human intelligence, then the outcome is even worse than it would be if you were an animal. And so this demarcation of what is the correct or incorrect use of one's intelligence. Well, if we take the mark of a correct use of intelligence, the generation of happiness, and this is not only the short-term immediate happiness, but indeed that intelligence is laying down the causes for the long-term happiness, definite happiness in the future. Then we can ascertain or we conclude that such intelligence is correct.
Yeah, order shabu da de mo samlo yabu da de India samlo da do tene ko namju se de yabu peju da ya da miss de niveau yone men namju de sha da de namju de da ji peju yabu tang ma shi ba yina o da pe sa sa de da peju yabu tang shi go dos da peju yabu tang shi ba la da psychological do tang yabu shi go do samlo do tang yabu shi go do de ma shi na de wa du go yo se dong ne du de ge do da psychological do tang yabu shi na ane 문에 전에 대화 근데 정도도 동네에 근데 정도도 딱딱 하고네 아니 땐도 되게 좀 되네 요걸 와.
So this is something that we need to take to heart to be able to determine that I will use my intelligence in the most skillful and most correct way, and I will be able to. I need to cultivate my inner psychology in order to be able to make those choices unmistakably and to use them correctly. Because there's sometimes when I think kind of like with the poor sense of that psychology that I'm using my intelligence to generate happiness, but it only leads to suffering. And so we need to be able to indeed purify or say remove or edit out those kinds of thinking, those ways of thinking, and to establish that the intelligence I'm talking about is laying down the causes for happiness, not just in the short term, but is leading to a definite happiness in the future.
어떤 정도 어떤 다 되는 인사 먼저 당부대 준주 용화라 레로 숨다 하고도 준주 개가를 레로 숨다 자원 연신의 레로 아니 기록별 레로 아니 다니엘 녀별 레로 다 되는자 레로 숨마요다 레로 레를 갑대 그래서 자고도 갑대 자단 신고로다 갑대 자단 신고로다 그자 자원 연신의 레로 삼로 자원 연신의 레로 레어도 되고 동은 친구들 하기도 와. 뒤에서 뒤 고감 하대 저도 아니 다 먼저 제대 되게 아니 자원에서 레로 슈대 되게 강가 다 같이 저 안저 가서다 아니 코알라 때도 내 주잖아 좀더 되게도 와. 때도 내 주자 다 코알라 내 사람들 동네 바시면도 대화다 그네요. 근데 이번에서 안 다디 못 쳐봤지. 안 한도도 소소대 다들 미지대 딱pat 때만 매 되겠지. 딱pat 때만 매 되겠지. 보다 내가 자원이네 매대겐지 미심발을 용 답변한 거저 뉴스다 되돌다다 가시 파 홀리데이트 수용도 로스 용도다 제트보디 수용도 와 아니 가시 파 nhập在家네 위켄기 nhập在家프리스나루 아니 디 샤바치에 배주 따로 말하자는 시도도 와 다디가 그가 저는 거 내가 매 시야가 되는 용거는 소소를 되는 봐요 내가 요마라 디가 시베 토네 자원 내식을 레로 슉쳐 보이는 슉쳐도 총도 다해 아니 직대배 자와 되게 돼야 거의 야당에 도마도 돼 아니 kulon다 교가 당다라 레고도 아니 되게 돼 최주배 통계를 배주 땅 투바전데 배주 땅 투바전데 최주배 통계를 배주 땅 투바전 되게가 최를 교토 버전 와데 제대 자원 계획을 레로도 슉쳐다 땅 엔티 매버서 답제 와데 직자 때는 가사데 기루벨레로 다 뒤주 돌아다니다 왔다 집어지야 다들 치워미다 보다 삼다 딜레 치워미다 봐 삼다네 아니 집 가서도 죄다 두개게 가서 다들 가서죠 안 데데 기루벨레로도 슉쳐도 추다는 아니 다 쳐두바 타체 쳐두에 다다는 두바 타체 안 되마다 쳐코나 두바다 치원 예배 쳐두바 타체 치원 남친 예배 인자 쳐다는 두바 타체 안 치워도 쳐기마도 간자 미배마 인바 인자 안 근데 가서도 지제 쳐도 좋아 다 제죠. 왔다들 저는 다 좀답 제죠. 아니 들으잖아. 들으셔.
So then in the process of cultivating the perfection of enthusiastic effort, we must first deal with that which are the obstacles to developing such enthusiastic effort. And we have outlined those as the different characteristics of laziness or different types of laziness. And that so we recognize the laziness of engaging in negative activities. We must see this as what's faulty in that and what is the loss to us in that. And therefore, to counteract that, the meditation that is recommended is to see how cyclic existence is essenceless, and to see that here that if one puts so much effort into the busyness of life like that, that it is really ultimately a folly. That we have to understand that we may the example of going away on holiday with great enthusiasm to enjoy, and yet that which comes back is a corpse in a coffin. And that there's no definite in that, and and that's the same that we buy groceries for the fridge, but we may not, they will outlive us and we will die before they are used up. And that we need to look into the news and so on to see many instances of this happening, and to see how these are lessons that we should apply to ourselves. Say, if this happens to other people, then there's no guarantee that they won't happen to me. In fact, it's guaranteed that something like this is going to happen to me. And so I need to be able, in this way, one needs to first reduce the obsession we have with the busyness of this life. And then also to be able to take a step back, to be able to indeed transform our attitude towards many of these activities that make such a busy life for us, and to co-opt them into our spiritual practice, to use them to enhance our spiritual practice. So we need to be skilled in being able to relabel and recalibrate the activities that we are doing to make them into spiritual activities. And the second of these lazinesses is this laziness of sloth and procrastination. And again, the antidotes are very similar in the way that here the main one is to contemplate the meditation on death and the impermanence in the form of death, that death is definite. And from that, we reach the conclusion that, death is definite, I must engage in spiritual practice. I can see no option but to do so. And then through contemplating how death, the time of death is indefinite, then we realize that, there isn't really any time to waste. This practice of procrastination is very counterproductive and unhealthy. Therefore, I must engage in that spiritual practice now. And then through contemplating how only our spiritual practice will bring any benefit to us at the time of death, that we now conclude that I will exclusively engage in spiritual practice, only spiritual practice. And we described how that is the case where we are transforming the moments of our normal life into a spiritual practice, and to gain the conviction in that all of those aspects of death and all of those conclusions at the end of those contemplations, that conviction that will really transform our everyday lives.
What did la china tata? Molom jay jump. Take a contingent market some jay data comes to order to Kawakina, whom I take it then, register to learn you then, Sanjay. That Tebach Tebach regulation near the Sanjay Command, you told your shows, smaller than money tongue watches with the tongue. What in the chair? And then you lot at the back, I said, that lot to you, Keju, that I said, law, Keju Jetta, could you go down there? You're Chicken Lusul, the Kodu Keme, Kodu Shimi, the Tishangwa. Until that, Kasha Ninja, Lord Chuchu seated Kasha delay Chunga, that did what? Yabachuni made a jabu, Tata to turn all. What is the water? They got some of that is to get the Koramashi Gola, near Louis, Santai, Santero, Mazunashita. That Mozu, you might dinner, she Chagrota. Dinner, she's tired, but what the Gonyome? Guy Namchina dinner, she Chagre, Godu, some such as summer starter. And she there said the Tapatamato, shoots on the chocolate, Tapato, shoots on the chocolate. What did the channel? Oh, that the day you buy that the Madeva Ninkate. Madeva was Chagre, and the Chavi Ninkate, that means going to remember Chatarta. Mean Namjo the last had it. Then the water, then it was chewing about. And Namjin Yemeta, do you mean down the Kajalo Chuju, Kajalo Chimbo, the Napa Chubudata? Namjin Yemet, Reguda, and that she was a chimbo of Kayan Biba to get some of the what to get some of the time, and it's a church of Kumas of the door, tenor. Yahweh, what to get the Thompson to do enough to do to buy a chetata. One of Jajab, Labatanachi, Chamani.
And something I'd recommend if one has the time to visit a graveyard or a cemetery and to really spend some time there and make aspirational prayers for all those there, that wherever they are reborn in any of the 6 realms, they may be freed from the suffering there. May they take a precious human rebirth and meet with a qualified Mahayana spiritual teacher and be able to proceed along the paths and grounds to enlightenment and recite Amala mantras and so on, and just do our own practice. And then one can read the gravestones. And there's the tradition in the West, that they tell you the person when they are born and when they die, and you can calculate exactly how long they lived. And so some will read that they have lived for 70 years or 80 years, but you can see also that some very, very young, some 14, 15 in their teens or even earlier, that they have died. And that, you have to really, from that point, really gain the realization of the uncertainty of the span of life. That there is nothing definite, and that in fact, no matter how much I love life and have grasping onto permanence, that I will also end up in a graveyard like this. I will also end, this life will finish, this human existence, reality that I am so fond of now will go. And like all these people who so much identified with their own bodies as being themselves, had to reach that harsh conclusion at death where they were going to be separated from that body, that this will happen to me as well. So we need to reflect in this way. In that context, it'd be very, very helpful to reduce the grasping at permanence that is so much a part of us, and indeed to reflect on these three aspects of death as well, how death is definite, the time is indefinite, and at the time of death only Dharma will be of any useful, and that to gain that sense of the uncertainty around life and the importance of using every moment of that life in the best possible way now.
안 다니시 다 수바데 자와 내신게 레로스 다 내두고 말에 내 주고 말했어 안 소소 배 지금 가서다 마두고 잘라 파샤잖아 아니 딜레데네 다 최두에 배주 맞는 정도도 와
And the third type of laziness that is an obstacle to generating enthusiastic effort is the laziness of this defeatism of saying from the outset, oh, no, I can't do that. I couldn't possibly do that. And that kind of then is used as an excuse not to make an effort at all.
어디래 다 가자 저 가자 다 되게 되는가 다오데 다 되게 같이 가서는 저기 소주줄라 산쟁 리요래 산쟁 리요 사베체라 거기 소주 배준지 제마도 배준 제마자 라려는 배준 제마이나 아니 리디 다 거기 세드 전에 다 용데 담보 거주도 도스 강에 우리 가서 녀모도 소식 전부다 데데 온게 도스 강에 요데 이네 갈리 전 가자스나 아고 저기 거 양다와들 금세망아 요래 금세망아 요도 아니 리베 내가 쇼총도 통한도 아니 우리나 다네게 잡 가서 리베 내가 매바 통한도 아니 고바 탐에도 배도가 준 거예요 거의 야드야드죠 right what did it
And so that the antidote here is to really become aware that one has a Buddha potential, and that that capacity to really attain the state of enlightenment and to really perfect all the qualities within that we have in our system. And of course, this should push us to make an effort. Even though at the outset, of course, it's going to be more difficult because we're starting off at the very beginning, and that here, but as we constantly reduce the overriding influence of the three poisonous attitudes and our mental afflictions, and we also are becoming more, gain more conviction that there is more valid reasoning supporting the refining of our minds and the expanding of our capacities than there are to keep things as they are, to support this defeatist attitude. And so we use the reasoning to overcome our laziness in this case, and to understand that we can really develop our mindset to reach a sense of perfection in the state of enlightenment.
다 가다데 제 정보다 샤장다 두두들래 아니 다지그 플라이 들래 아니 산제 리스크 요르 수고라 맞추주나 산제 리요르스 저거 좀 받게봐이나 아니 산제 코바 좀도 이나다 디테랑다 좀도 말데 얘네 디다 산다 제 가서 미케왈레 아니 번남주 도시 아니 가서 산제 리디 요바 인자 그 좀도 그랬어 다 소다도 미케왈레 돼요 아니 야고레 디 독자를 또 신도 요래 아니 근데 남주제 요래 잠니지 장주 섬서 연대제 통고 요래 네 소소가 지금 배준지 제게 이나 좀 매도에 매되겠지 네 이래 다 다른 배준 제바 이나 강 배준 제바 뒤 제부 타져바 체 다른 말로는 제마들 딜레 약스 제마 딜레 약스 아니 야다 전에지 용되기로 와 요다 다른 두고 말에 샤샤는 거주이는 파도에 차되기로 와 뭐든지 온다 거기 다 다른 밀려려만 봐도 쏘고 요와
So one must understand that yes, this Buddha potential is there in all sentient beings, and the texts even point out that even in ants or very small sentient beings it is there, and of course it is there, but it is there as a kind of as it says, as a potential. And anybody in the animal realms, of course, in order to really start to fulfill that potential, must really genuinely begin with a human rebirth. And so one must understand that I already have that human rebirth. So I am already at a great advantage. And that as a human, I have a human intelligence. I'm able to tell the difference between what is good and bad. I'm able to appreciate a person who has good qualities and admit that they are good. And so there is no reason really that I cannot improve my situation if I put the effort in. And so that should be something that is very, very important, that I can see that with effort I would get better later on, and then once I continue with that effort, I'm consistent in that effort, I will again improve, and one can understand the reasoning behind that. And so therefore one can use this kind of reasoning to overcome this sense of defeatism.
Yeah. But Sajid Shachova, Kibu Lamchung Bas, Kibu Lamchung Bas again, and that because of the report of report of Kazalamne Hamovich. That do you pass Timapas loud, do you pass chance at Timapan, the Timapan the Cheto, Timapas Cheto, do you pass the Cheto? That is Cheja, do you pass Timapan, do you pass Timapan, that's a muscle. And Kazan Sonatana, and it takes us of the Tipa Dachin, and the Kazan Sonatana, do you pass Timapas, the Koti Saduta, the Samaso, Del Maguajan, and Rangi, Kugi, and that was a no more Tanzan Mariba, the ticket to the core, the Pango, the Nabatameto, the Sheriff Congress. What are the Lacon in this country? And said that Taju with Timotova to the Suda, because a Sanjay Rio was a teaching you. A Benjamin Majan Howard, the Benjamin Javaina, the daily report that to which in my ine. Consumption divided down to Sanjay Ridia said, consumption and top of my cage of good one.
And so the texts speak about one disciple, one student of the Buddha, known as Gyubu Lamchung.
Lamchungpa, yeah.
Gyubu Lamchungpa, and that it's very, very dull-witted and couldn't grasp even the smallest verse of the Buddhist teachings. And so he was put to sweep the yard of the temples and so on. And that during, while he was sleeping, he would say, just simply, I am purifying the stains, I am cleaning the dust, I am cleaning the dust, I am purifying the stains, I am cleaning the dust, I am purifying the stains. And this continued on and on and on. This is all he could manage. And yet, so he had such a poor mind that he would, in trying to remember, half a verse, he would be able to memorize one line, but then forget the other, and then remember the other, but then forget the first line. And so he really had no capacity to retain. So all he had was the process of sweeping day and month and year after year, and say, I am sweeping my dust away, I'm cleaning the stains, I'm sweeping the dust away, I'm cleaning the stains. This acted on his mind so that he eradicated the negativities of obscurations from his mind, and that were especially related to the ignorance of self-grasping, and uncovered the wisdom realizing selflessness. And so that eventually he reached a very high state.
Yeah, because Marazo, she motto, the Hako motto, Sanjay Ring or the Dibba and Kapshani. Same motto, that Dibba the part to do, and read the song, what to Jongurwa.
And so this process of not knowing or being confused and not understanding at the outset is that which is really what is how it's understood is that one's wisdom is covered by negativity and obscuration and this ignorance. And so once one purifies, this is the process of uncovering this wisdom. And so once that then is uncovered, one can really use that in a way to shine a light on knowledge for ourselves. And so it's like a stained a glass which is very much dirty or stained, that we cannot see the true nature of the glass. But if we clean it and shine it and so on, that will uncover the natural clarity of the glass. And it's very much the same in our own minds.
다른 거저 한모가다 되게 뒷바다 집에 온게 아니 하고 막고 와처럼 몽바 차오라 다 뒤바바 세어데 아니 것도 좋은 거라 그것도 좋은 거라 진짜
and so the confusion that we have of not understanding or not knowing now is very much down to the negativities and obscurations that are really obscuring our capacity to understand. And so with the purification, then we will uncover the natural wisdom beneath that for ourselves. So we leave it there for today. I realize I didn't get far on the text, but we get to that next week.
Yeah, 가서 가서 준주기 님보 레로 준주기 개 레로데 하고 받잖아요. 먼저 다 강투도 숙소도 봐 개점 봐.
So the main point, of course, is that in order to generate the enthusiastic effort, we need to recognize the main obstacle, and that is in these forms of laziness that has been laid out. And so we can read into that and understand that and counteract that.
다들 왔다 간자체 아니 다다다데 랑이 지워라 안 세다베 라마 통한도차 다데 콜레 레센나가 쳐다 다가제 데데게 다 준주기 게 레로 아니 가서데 자와겐시게 레로 아니 겔게 레로 다니레 녜베 레로 서바다 레로 되게데 라다랑 더 심제 탐제다 지원에 답가자 라마 통한도저 뒤진나가 레센 전에 나게 집어는 막 쇼네 토마메만 디바다 개발도야 아니 데데게 준주기 남네 타쳐 봐 야고 용하라 인게 레로 나바 솜데 배 나니 되죠 삼사체 나니 되체네 아니 오다 되체네 딱가자 지금 레로고 데데게 준주기 게 레로 나바 솜 마차다 저 마차소 삼사 원도 공시.
And so then we engage in the descending nectar light meditation in this context with the guru on our crown, and then these nectar lights enter into the crowns of myself and all the kind mother sentient beings all around us, with the white light predominant. And this purifies all the obscurations and negativities that we have accumulated since the beginning of time in general, and in particular it certainly really focuses on and targets the different types of laziness, the laziness of engaging in negative activities, the laziness of sloth and procrastination, and the laziness of defeatism, in order to really get rid of these particular obstacles to our perfecting the perfection of enthusiastic effort. And so, and this nectar light not only eradicates those negativities and obscurations in general, but not just these lazinesses in particular, but also the very imprints of those lazinesses as well.
안다네 왜세 세부식 체스 트레네 아니 랑게 라드라도 심제 탐자라도 집어내 마주르다 아니 저게 초기 시간 다다데 라마 토안도 제가 투기를 유명해는 준주고 연대 말로 하셨습니다. 탐자기라 톱소 서서 고마시.
And then we meditate how the nectar lights again flow with the golden light predominant entering into the crowns of myself and all mother sentient beings all around, and then bestowing on us the really conducive conditions for being able to perfect the perfection of enthusiastic effort as quickly as possible.
Yeah. But 다라게 닝가 닝데는 배마 답제치라 주소 삼사체 디들 니만 따에 대체 삼다 아니 오다디 이번 젠자네 아까자지 받아서 라마로 다른 닝가 브면되죠 컨디션 뭐죠 구조토용 뭐죠 수대자 가불값서 마죠 니백가도 수 수백가도 때도시 산제 고마 마도 받아 다 제소수 삼사원들의 고마시.
And then we establish an upturned 8-petaled lotus with sun and moon disk mandala at our heart center, and make the invocation verse to invite the Guru deity on our crown down to that seed. So that after the first recitation, they begin that journey down through our central channel. With the second, they arrive at that seed, and at the end of the third recitation, we see them as being steadfast there until we attain the state of enlightenment and rejoice in that. O glorious and precious Guru, come take the lotus and moon this here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind.
And the Tagodo, Takaja, the Betsanga diet of Muni, so the Korosum Tatic, Nangosum, the Shamdel, Arabas and Nati, and the Korachigo Sum Tatic, and the Shamdela, Takaja, Tedenga, Omayetama, Hedotaba, Takata, Havet, Mashaman, Swati, and the Koranagosum, what it is a Kobashi, and a day now, and the social Ningu Yuso, Lamatuan Dojichan, the Kule. Set trainer, and the Chibone can't take a buggy, and Lu Tamjala, very charming. Takaji Lu Nga, Yusum Gita, children, and the Gaya Tamja Shivacha, Tunja Malu was somewhat also something. What did the Kubashin?
And then we rejoice in the arrival of the Guru deity at our heart center. Before the 8 petals, they are fold over, enfolding the figure, and they are sealed at the top with the 5-pronged white-colored Vajra. And then they are sealed further with the 3 circling mantras, the first being the mantra of the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha in a clockwise direction, the mantra of Manjushri in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination again in a clockwise direction. And then from within, the nectar, 5-colored nectar lights emanate, or white colors actually, emanate from the heart center of the Buddha within, and permeating through all of our bodies, every cell from the crown to the soles of our feet, and eradicating all obstacles and negativities in general, and in particular, any inconducive condition to our being able to fulfill our Dharma destiny. And that this includes all health issues that we might have, and a balancing of the 4 elements and so on, and the pliancy of the winds, the channels, and the drops.
That was a command of a Zada, that you think I said as what I and the Zada Lungi till the Gay with the Pachans, and how don't do that. Settle new to Sanjay Komato, Tame and Nashi, the Gay Chishin, but Tame Nashi, Gay Tamja Jana, Kanata, the Tabalam, Bashi, the Charo, something what is Kobashi.
And in particular, it really deals with the biggest obstacle to our being able to quickly attain the state of enlightenment, that is, seeing things with our ordinary perception. And so this is now eradicated, or this is counteracted, refuted, and we see everything in a pure aspect.
And so Shindo to Lund in the language, Lamashaja say good attention, social lut, Lamashaja and good should social Shindo to send the Yelanja, Lamashajas and to the attention, social send the Lamashajas and Tula Jusu, something. Rangal Lunga use of the Lamashajas and Kuzutu, or Yemel Josu, something. Nedia, and Lamashajas and the share comes to Jusu, so what did the commission?
Through the combination of my own more subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own body transforms into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And through the combination of my own more subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And so now I see myself, my body, speech, and mind as being indivisible from the body, speech, and mind of an enlightened being. And also the place in which I am, it transforms into an enlightened palatial mansion.
And the subject of such a comes on subject that Pope comes on subject Lama Shajas and Kusuto, Yemechasus, Nedia, and the Kasurata, Lama Shajas and Share, Jusu, something.
And then, seeing myself as a fully enlightened being, I send out countless rays of light from my heart, entering into all the 3 realms of existence and entering into the crowns of all the sentient beings in those realms and transforming them into fully enlightened beings. And likewise, the places in which they are transformed of all faults and transformed into enlightened realms.
그래, 다들 어디로자, 단 심지 탐제게는 도연 주긴 생긴데 심지 탐제 산제 고바도 그것도 지금 단 니만 들을 것도 손을 가고.
How wonderful today is the day. I fulfill the purpose of all sentient beings. I'm being able to bring all sentient beings to enlightenment. How fantastic that is.
어디로자, 가고 어디다, 안 다들 간제 다 심지 탐제 산제 고바 살고에 대체도 수도 개와 가를 주위에는 and
it's a state of enlightenment itself, the virtues that I create in order to attain that state, and indeed I as the agent engaging in this path to enlightenment lack any objective existence and am merely imputed by thought. And from this emptiness arises the bliss, and then I abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness.
samlu zamre, myoba zamre. Yena yang, danda di, samlu di tawane, ane da soso jignamlen chimbi jeshe ba di, anba nyodo dede, une koran dede yongege, ane gyula gyua shos. Gyu masang mewa chi, gyu masang mewa changu yuwesa, gyu masang mewa yongege gyula gyua shos.
So now we make the dedication knowing that what we are engaged in here is manifest only through my own imagination and my own aspiration. But I make a strong dedication that it may become truly manifest for real as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So do our Lamrim prayer. That I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time. May I become chiefly Buddha for all those whose minds wisdomized, blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving passion for all wise men and Geshe. May I find the best of complete great path of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear darkness from the minds of all beings with the point of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this greater path to enlightenment completely, due to the wondrous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths, never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.
Ma
Strive a great treasure of compassion, not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapati, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Sankapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, blessings drop at your feet, I make requests.